I hate to break the fishing news after Remchuck, but I'd like to speak about the ice hockey.
Congratulations. You're one of the 13 listeners of the Real Life Podcast.
We just traded a migraine in for like an orgasm.
Might want to mark that down.
Yep. All of my projects are on schedule until they're not.
A member of the Nation Network of Podcasts.
About as funny as we're going to get today.
Welcome in. Episode... Oh, God, I didn't write down what episode it was. Episode 278 of the Real Life Podcast. I'm Tyler here. I'm Chuck Chalmers. Jay are both here. Maybe Bag Milk, maybe Wanye. I don't know. I think this is just going to be one of those episodes where people pop in as they please.
This podcast is already having a case of the Mondays.
That lined up perfectly. Just as I say, this might be a podcast where people come and go as they please. Wanye shows up. How's it going?
How's it going, buddy? Are you on the air right now?
Oh, yeah, we are recording. We just started recording like 55 seconds ago.
Marvelous. I was talking to Bag Milk. No fair.
Bag Milk will probably be hopping into this Zoom call waiting room in a couple of seconds as well here. This podcast is brought to you by Oodle Noodle. Should get that out of the way early here. Make that your playoff tradition. We're going to talk about like playoff rituals and all that. What if for every Oilers game day in the playoffs, you just ate at Oodle Noodle? I'm sure it could go wrong.
You should. Well, nothing could go wrong. It's just if you like having delicious things every night. But I want to jump on the Oodle Noodle ad read and make an announcement. It's not. We don't have the date yet because we're just waiting on some delivery. But we are so close to launching banana spring rolls.
Oh my God!
So
with
close.
Nutella dip. With Nutella dip. Oh boy,
that's good, Livin.
So
that
stay
is good
tuned.
News.
Probably next week. I'll have more concrete details. We have a meeting on Wednesday. I'll get all filled in on all of the details and launch details. So I'll let you know on Thursday.
If you want banana spring rolls to blow up, Jay, you got to remember the first hit's free. Every single person you give a free banana spring roll to, you will get a customer for life because they're so delicious.
Yeah, we'll encourage our franchisees to do sampling.
And here's a ring.
We're probably going to build a promotion around it on Skip the Dishes. So maybe like a free item with a purchase or something. So stay tuned.
Do you ever eat Nutella, your M-Chuck?
Yes, I've eaten Nutella before.
But you like spread it on bread, like super thin, probably, right?
Well, yeah, like that is, what else would you have Nutella with?
Well, imagine a spring roll. Imagine a spring roll where you can use it as a shovel for Nutella. Like, the amount of Nutella you can use this thing, it's preposterous. It's so delicious.
It does sound
I just love Nutella, but also the spring roll is nice. It's nice, like a coated banana.
This might be something only Bagged Milk gets, but you know, on TikTok, how there's all those little like 5-minute craft videos that usually just get like ripped apart because they're stupid as fuck. I saw one where you take an empty jar of Nutella that just has like the weird chocolate around the inside, like nothing left in it, right? And you put like hot water and milk in there and you shake it up and you make your hot chocolate out of the Nutella container.
You got to do it.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Actually,
it sounds unbelievable.
But you're probably melting the plastic as well, and you're getting a little bit of plastic in there.
Well, it toughens you up to drink some plastic.
It's good for you.
Well, if you eat processed cheese, I guess you're already doing there.
It. I'm a big cheese whiz guy. At least once a year, I will buy myself a big fucking cheese whiz.
Really?
Yeah.
I grew up on cheese whiz, like always had it in the house.
Exclusively?
Well, like more or less. And Kraft singles too. Like my mom would always buy the processed cheese.
You are half plastic.
Well, yes. And then when I moved out, I haven't bought Cheese Whiz since I moved out. And for the first couple months, I kind of bought Kraft singles just because like that's what I always had in my grilled cheese growing up was Kraft singles. But I made the change to just always normal, natural cheese. And I'm never looking back.
So just wait. So the Bionic Man is half robot, half man. Your Remchuck is half plastic, half man. So are you the Poly Man? What are you? What's your name?
I think I like to think I've cleaned up my diet a little bit, which is weird. I would say usually for like a young male, when they move away from home, their diet would get like worse. But I think I actually might be eating healthier now that I no longer live at home.
My wife once bought Velveeta cheese to make a Kraft dinner style macaroni, but a homemade one. And we ate it and we left the leftovers out for like 20 minutes, half an hour. And we went back to them and it was the grossest thing I've ever seen. We're talking like vulcanized rubber, hard as a hockey puck. And I just thought about how much of that I just put in my body. And I was disgusted. I will never eat that shit again.
No, I know won't let it harden.
Well, it's just like going to McDonald's too.
Oh, it's just coating the walls of your aorta. You're all good.
The fact, and I've never had Nutella. I gotta admit that.
Excuse me?
Oh, I was a late adopter too.
We have it in our house at all times because my one son absolutely loves a Nutella sandwich for lunch. And it's kind of a treat thing. It's not an everyday thing.
I was going to say.
It's misused, Chalmers. It's not a sandwich thing. It's a dip. Like if you have fruit and Nutella,
a little bit of strawberry
in the game. Yeah, kill in the game.
But when they first started marketing, because Nutella is huge outside of North America, and when they first started like marketing it to North Americans, they're like, put it on your toast. And I was like, but I was a kid, and I'm like, I wasn't a big nut fan, and the brand really leads to nuts. So I was like, I can't try this. I can't exactly. It should become like chocolate Nutella or something.
So let's be honest.
I was scared to try it.
In the realm of like stuff that's bad, stuff that disgusts you, like Velveeta, and something that's not too bad for you. How bad is Nutella for you? Like, is it?
It's a slightly more unhealthy peanut butter.
I imagine there's a ton of sugar in it.
Slightly, peanut butter is actually good for you.
Okay,
depends. I think if you get the processed peanut butter, like I think all natural peanut butter is good for you, but I think like the whatever craft peanut butter, I don't think that would be great.
Here's
for you.
The thing: there's a few things in the world where you can only lean with like one type of a thing. So like if you're having ketchup, I'm sorry, there are so many talented culinary hipsters out there that try to make their own version of ketchup. It does not hold up to Heinz. I don't know why. Same thing with peanut butter. It is craft or bust.
Well, Jif ain't the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, Jif will fucking get you where you need to go.
No,
I agree.
You can eat craft peanut butter outside of Canada. If you're in a pinch, Jif will do.
Oh, if I'm absolutely dying for peanut butter, which I do find when I travel, I am.
I consider myself a little bit of a peanut butter connoisseur, and I have to say Kraft is definitely the best. And you know what? Yeah. The light one is actually a better tasting peanut butter. Jif and like Crunchy, there is some good ones. The natural ones, though, I can't do those. They oil up, and you got to keep them in the fridge. Not a big fan. When you guys were kids, did your mom ever used to make you where you would take a piece of white bread and you would put butter on it and then sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of sugar, and then put it in the oven and bake it?
Good.
In the oven? Is in the oven.
Cinnamon toast.
Like a toaster oven.
Toast.
It's cinnamon toast, but in the oven, and you don't toast it and then put the butter in because you want the cinnamon to kind of caramelize with the.
Oh my Lord!
It is fantastic.
Like real life cinnamon toast crunch.
Exactly. But it hits different coming out of the oven, man. Or like a toaster oven. Yeah.
So here's a JR youth story myself and a classic Art Downton tale. My father.
He just referred to himself by his initials and then refer to himself.
Well, because this is peak JR's life, right? JR
this is the Squire.
JR's you, right?
JR is me, but this is when I was like, this is JR. This is the life of JR.
JR.
Okay.
So I grew up downtown. And the winter, and my dad was pretty active. So like at nighttime, he maybe 4 or 5 times a week, he would go down to the Victoria Oval and skate laps. That was his exercise. So he would take me down with him and I would just go skate around and kill time. But then we would go home after and we'd have a snack. And it was, so 9 times out of 10, it would be a sardine sandwich.
Oh my gosh!
You have to.
But one out of 10, and you didn't know when it was coming. It'd be the cinnamon toast, and it was unbelievable.
Well, those are vastly different snacks, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well,
I'd be really upset about the sardine sandwich.
That is like the worst roulette spin
sardine
ever.
Sandwiches aren't bad. You just have to get your head right.
It did 2 things.
They're not bad.
It really made me love and look forward to when it was a cinnamon toast because it was so good.
100%.
I bet.
But I ate so many sardine sandwiches, I got Stockholm syndrome, and I started liking them.
Yeah.
So still to this day, I'll crave that flavor. That
like an anchovy pizza is disgusting, but if you actually get used to them, they're delicious.
Yeah.
Same type
sardine
thing.
sandwiches.
Didn't your dad when you guys used to walk home, didn't you used to have a sarsaparilla every day? Do you youngins know what a sarsaparilla is?
Well,
No.
it's cowboy root beer, really, is what.
Didn't your dad make you eat Big Turks?
So once again, this is the life of
wasn't
JR.
even up for debate.
I wasn't allowed to eat too much junk food as a kid, but I could only eat junk food if my dad was having junk food. So I was subject to his tastes. So the only
it's amazing you're not a serial killer. Bravo.
Yeah, the only pop I could have growing up as a kid, root beer, but I love it now.
And ginger beer.
Yeah. Nah, ginger beer. Yeah. Ginger beer. Or sometimes dad would make a swamp water with like 4 different flavors when we go to like the Dairy Queen that was used to be on 124th Street. Anyways.
Now the McLaren's furniture?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well
exactly.
done. Well done again.
But your dad would like, as an adult, be like, I'm mixing together all 5 of these flavors and giving it to my children.
But only like on his time. Like it was like, and then the other one was his sweet. So I could only have dad loved all sorts. I couldn't fucking touch those things.
Oh, like Big Turk and licorice all sorts.
But then
you could lock me in a
candy
room for the rest of eternity and I'd never eat either.
And then
I like me a Big Turk.
That's the thing. Like a sardine sandwich, I love a Big Turk.
I like me a Big Turk.
Oh man, have you ever read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? The kid gets addicted to Turkish delight.
Yep.
And then I think he falls through the wardrobe. I can't remember what happens, but that shit is dangerous to eat. You can become cursed very easily.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if I see one and I've got a sweet tooth, I will have a Big Turk to relive.
They're always at the bottom of the gas station candy thing in the bottom right, next to like a vote for Brian Mulrooney O'Henry.
But
nobody wants that shit.
The last time I had a Big Turk to that exact point, it was a little dusty when I opened it. You know,
next to a cherry blossom from the late 80s on the box.
Cherry was allowed to have cherry blossoms. Was allowed to have cherry blossoms as a kid.
Henrys don't deserve to be in that. Henrys are fantastic.
But not an old Brian Mulrooney one.
Wow. The Big Turk, very, very bottom, not at eye level, eh? You don't want to put those.
Well,
that's prime real estate.
For us Big Turk enthusiasts, that's the thing. We know where to look.
I don't think there's an us in there. If you're into
them, you know where to find them.
One time I found a super old O. Henry in a suitcase in my parents' basement. I was like, holy shit. I don't know how old this is, but I'm eating it. I was a little kid. And it was like white. The chocolate had turned white because it was so old. And the log up the middle had turned to like prehistoric dust. And I ate it and it was long past its expiration. And I couldn't eat O. Henry again for years because of it.
You got it.
I'm a big Tootsie Roll guy. I love Tootsie Rolls.
I don't mind them. Like they're okay.
I feel like that walks the line of like gross, obscure candy into like mainstream stuff. I love Tootsie Rolls.
Well, fuck anybody who likes candy corn. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. If anyone who eats candy corn is a narc.
You know what I used to do?
Interesting.
I used to take like gummy Coke bottles and I used to put them in my Slurpee. So like when you get to one, it would be like a little surprise.
Yeah.
And I used to think it was the greatest thing ever. Yeah, it doesn't hold up. They're pretty frozen when they come out now. They're like hard as a rock and you can't really enjoy them. It's just something that was like, as a kid, I don't know why I thought it was so cool.
If you go to the movies and you get a giant popcorn, post-pandemic, of course, and you throw a full pack of M&Ms in there, if you want the hidden treasure throughout the entire movie, we have to shake the bag so you get even M&Ms dispersal.
Yeah, don't they just sink to the bottom?
Nope. A good popcorn, she's nice, keeps her nice in the loop. Light. You have to keep them.
With that Velveeta popcorn butter oil, that'll hold her up.
I hate that.
That'll coagulate and hold it up.
Me too.
I would rather bring my own butter.
Coagulate, all right.
I'd rather bring my own butter. Is that what you just said, Bag Milk?
Yeah, I'll just keep it in my leg.
BYOB?
My leg. Yeah.
How do you keep it warm enough to still be liquid?
I just keep it in my cheeks, and I'll just pour it out.
You just say sit on it on the way to the movie.
With a mouthful of hot butter. You'd scald yourself.
This used to exist, and I don't think it does anymore, but I was thinking this the other day. Do you guys remember like 10, 15 years ago when Baysell sold butter in a spray container?
Yes.
That needs to be brought back for the sole purpose of homemade popcorn. I can't find it anywhere unless I'm looking in the areas.
There's probably a reason for that, your Chuck.
Probably.
I wish I could show you this thing that I packed it away now, but it's like this. It's an olive oil spray that's got really nice little herbs and flavors. And I use that on popcorn.
That's the goods. Well, and olive oil is good for you. That's fine. Don't you remember? Remember, Chuck? There used to be. Remember Fabio? Big, long-haired, good-looking guy that was on the cover. Got hit by the face of the Goose on the cover of all the Harlequin books.
Okay, I know. Yeah,
he was the face of I can't believe it's not butter, and then also I can't believe it's not butter spray.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know what
who's speaking right now. Is it JR or is it Jay?
JR was a huge Fabio fan.
Fabio guy. I'm just trying to figure out which one of you loves Fabio.
Well, see, now Mom loved the soap operas, so I had a lot of exposure.
Fabio in his day, like before social media, Fabio was social media famous. Like he was big with no way to be big except for being on the cover of ladies' books.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I know who this guy is. Well, so he was an actor, obviously.
No, he wasn't anything.
So he was just a dude. He was just like clout.
On all those
he's a male model.
love novels, he'd be on the front with this long flowing hair and no shirt, holding the woman down low, and he basically became famous because he looked just like the guy from all the covers of those, and that's pretty much the only thing he ever did was look like that guy.
How dare you? He was the Pope in Sharknado 5.
Wow.
He was the
Did I forget that cinematic gem?
I can't believe we climbed up to 5 there. That's impressive.
Yeah, that's I think more shocking than the fact that he's in
those
it.
things.
That there was
money.
5 of
those
them.
mint money.
Oh, there's a cult following. There's a cult following to it. I still need to go see The Room in a movie theater. I still got to go see The Room.
How about
I've seen a movie about the making of The Room, and I haven't seen The Room.
The headline I found here when I searched Fabio on Google is Ryan Gosling really identifies with Fabio's tragic pigeon incident.
I thought it was a goose. He was riding a roller coaster.
Did he also have a pigeon incident?
Unless there was a goose incident and a pigeon incident. Poor Fabio.
I'm going to look this up right now.
Here's from the article. The strange thing, though, is he called the bird a pigeon both times when it was reportedly a goose.
There it is, boys. Don't get my face about the Fabio facts.
I like that he doesn't know the difference between a pigeon and a goose.
Hey, when you're in a roller coaster and it's hitting you in the grill, it all feels the same.
Fabio,
it would have felt like an airplane.
Yeah, could you imagine taking a goose to the face at fucking?
But understand the story. He was opening the roller coaster. He was like the celebrity riding the roller coaster.
Shut up.
Really? Yes. And there were news cameras there covering the event. And he goes up to ride the inaugural run and takes a goose to the face and kills it, I think.
Oh, I hope so.
What do you think is more of a surprising bird altercation like that? Randy Johnson
for sure.
Okay. For sure. I thought that might win hands down.
This is definitely top 5 goose bird incidents.
Fabio's in the top 5. Definitely worthy of a top 5 mention. But Randy Johnson, like the amount of the timing on that, like the odds of that happening.
Well, and think about birds. Like every time you've been driving and a bird is on the road and you're like, okay, what do? It's going to fly up and get out of the way. Don't worry. It always gets out of the way. How the fuck does it hit his face? It's like 6 inches by 8 inches, like, and it's square on too. And he looks just dumbfounded after he gets hit. You got to see, if you can't Google image the picture, if you haven't done that yet, Google image the picture after it hits his face. It's Fabio. It's hilarious.
It's amazing.
Wow. I didn't even know. Oh my God. He's got like blood on his.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think?
It's a whole thing.
The goose?
He got hit by
all
a
these
goose,
cameras waiting when he gets off the fucking roller coaster. It is a smozzle of a situation.
The girl next to him is like laughing. She's like, LOL, are you okay? Like, what the fuck?
Only Fabio got hit.
I didn't know this happened.
It's awful.
Like,
if that is the most pertinent Oilers news of the last week, I don't know what
is there legit video of this happening? Because there's pictures of it, so there must have been it couldn't have been just a camera. It had to have been a video camera.
It was just people waiting on the ground because he was opening the roller coaster.
He would have been so pissed because he loves his image.
Terrible.
Oh my
God!
Like,
hey, there's Fabio. Click, 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 click.
There's video of him like pulling up after the ride is over. But there's not video of him hitting the goose.
Oh my God. Okay. The best
covered in bird.
He's opening this roller coaster. They're 4 wide on the roller coaster. 3 chicks on with him, all females dressed in like the same sort of like Roman toga type of thing.
You got to post a photo of this year and check on the socials.
Oh, yeah, I will.
100%. The people need to know.
Wow.
They need to know.
I think people forgot is the problem, you know?
I didn't know.
Some say some could say he's a hero for taking the goose and not letting one of the women take it.
I think Fabio would have pushed that lady in front of that goose if he'd had a split second more notice in a heartbeat.
To protect his face?
Save Fabio from Goose.
That's the moneymaker, you know? You can't be taking geese to the face when that's why you get paid the bill.
People, if I recall, were not allowed to ask him about it shortly thereafter.
There's blood on the girl behind him too, on her face.
Now, is that his or the goose's, I wonder?
Wow. To be determined.
Yeah, like, is that his blood?
I think if you're the lady, it doesn't really matter.
No, I don't know, but there's definitely blood all over the girls. Oh my God. If you go down far enough, you can find people's Halloween costumes.
Chalmers, that'd be such a good costume. Go as Fabio, bring a goose doll, and just hit yourself in the face with it throughout the night. Whip yourself in the face with the goose and yell Fabio.
Oh my God.
Holy fuck.
So to answer Chalmers' question, there's no set odds for the Randy Johnson thing. I'm finding 1 in 30 million to 1 in 300 million. There's just there's so many variables at play here. That
there has to be a bird in the stadium for one. Yeah. Flying on the infield.
Yep.
Right up the pit between the mound and the
right across the pipe.
There is a 0.1 second where he would be throwing like a 98-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, and there was a TV show called The Science of Sport that tried They tried to recreate it with cannons and chickens, and they could not get the baseball to hit the bird.
You couldn't do that in 2021.
Oh, geez, yeah.
If you even asked for a chicken cannon, you're in big trouble.
They were frozen chickens. Just to know, they had a chicken cannon. It looks like, and they were blasting the chicken through. While
there's a lot more meat in a frozen chicken than there is in a live ass pigeon.
Yeah, they couldn't hit it. They couldn't hit the birds. So
I've never seen another pitch with even a bird in frame in Major League Baseball, let alone right in the strike zone.
Do you guys remember that TV show? It was on like the Discovery Channel again, like 5-10 years ago in that time frame, and it was called "Don't Try This at Home," where they rented a house and they just did all the shit you're not supposed to do and like ruin this house. So like they would jam up the like doors on microwaves and put like 40 microwaves in a room to like cook shit. They would like overfill a waterbed and then like not stop until the floor collapsed. It was shit like that. And this experiment with the goose cannon reminded me of this. They would just like do insane shit that you're definitely not supposed to do, and like blow up this house. And it lasted one season. They ruined a house and it never came back. Can understand why.
You'll like this. So I just couldn't help myself but search bird accident incidents to see what other kind of bird would be in the pantheon of the world.
You know, top 5.
All I'm getting is a triangle. It's called the accident triangle, also known as the bird triangle, which is the theory of industrial accident prevention made by Frank E. Bird. Basically saying if an accident if an accident has one death, then you can expect that same accident in one death has had 10 serious accidents, 30 minor accidents, 600 near misses, and infinite unsafe acts. What? Very, very. You never know where you're going to go with some of this stuff.
You never know where you're going to go.
So that means 10 people have hit a bird. Well, almost, or if like at least one.
Because a series. I would assume that a goose to the face in the goose to faces on a roller coaster.
That would be that's right.
Would be in the minor accidents. Would be in the minor accidents. So we'd need 30 more incidents like that before.
Does that mean Fabio's had 30 near misses, or 30 roller coasters have had near misses?
No.
He's one of 30. So there's got to be. Yes. So for there to be a death, we need 29 more Fabios.
Exactly.
Or at least for they to be
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't want to cheer for that either. This is getting really weird. But
this is getting super weird.
I just rewatched the video of Randy Johnson hitting that bird. And
it's fake. It looks fake.
My favorite is the catcher. As soon as there's a poof of feathers right in front of him, he just kind of has the what the fuck look, and he just leaves.
And the crowd doesn't really clue into what's going on at first, right? Like it's not like everybody goes like, "Oh!" It's more like, "Oh."
It was a spring training game too, right? Where like the crowd's probably like not really paying attention at the best of times, and to just see the puff of feathers, I can imagine it'd be jarring or puzzling. Anyways, this seems like a great transition spot to give some love to Twig and Berries, who are moving into a new office. So we applaud Twig and Berries for moving into their new office. Free shipping in Canada on orders over $75, and some fantastic collabs. Heater and their new nutsack underwear collab up on their website. You can go check it out right now. They got a red plaid one, looks beautiful, and you would look beautiful in it. Also, the William nutsack underwear is out now. A bit of a more classic, just a straight up kind of look. Check them both out. And if you're interested, the promo code NATION15 is all yours. It saves you 15% on your order. twigandberries.ca. We got a new member of the nation, Matt Wozniak. He was on Oilersnation Radio. And the way things work is I send him the files or the video files or whatever of all the podcasts, and he makes them into TikToks. I usually give him like timestamps of like what to talk about, some ideas for TikToks to make. If I sent him this podcast, what do you think so far would make the best TikTok?
Oh, Woz loves some Goose talk, I'll tell you.
Like showing what he's already done?
Yeah, show the photo of Fabio taking it to the grill and pulling back up at the station.
Yeah.
And it's like the Flames logo, or I don't know. I don't know. I'm not good at that kind of stuff. I'm 41 years old. So.
Oh.
Yeah, you're just the star. You're just the
Whatever
star.
Whatever you say, Boomer.
TikTok
Good luck with that.
Whatever you say, Boomer.
Whatever you say, Booms.
Should we get into some Oilers talk?
Well,
I just learned what ratioed meant.
You just learned that?
I keep hearing it. I didn't really care to learn about it.
Josh ratioed the Flames.
Josh Park's like, I'm like, dude, that tweet was so funny. He's like, man, I ratioed the Flames with it. I was like, I'm scared.
Good for you, Boomer.
There's a couple different like ways to like be quote unquote like ratioed though, right? It's like Josh's reply getting more action than the Flames original tweet, that'd be ratioed. There's also like when someone tweets something and they have like 900 replies because the tweet's garbage and like 3 likes, like that's another ratio, like replies.
If you follow more people than follow you, you're ratioed.
According to Urban Dictionary, being ratioed is when a reply to a tweet gets more likes than the tweet it was replying to, usually indicating the unpopularity or stupidity of the original tweet.
Okay.
Interesting.
There were
ratioed a lot.
Is that
there were a couple of internet acronyms that I never learned until recently.
Let's have a test. Let's have a test.
Good one, Jay.
Okay, who knows? When you see a tweet or a post and it starts with the letters TIL, how many of you know what that means?
I do.
TIL.
I just learned it the other day, but I've been seeing it for years.
Bag Milk does.
Anyone else?
What? You've been seeing it for years? I can't even think if I've ever seen it.
At the start of a tweet.
TIL.
I don't know.
It's today I learned, or learned, whatever it would be.
Did you know that, Bag Milk?
I hate these because they make so much sense when you hear what they are.
Oh, I know.
Did you see the T-Pains today? I learned.
Yeah, T-Pain's the best. I fucking love that.
When he found out that there was a request folder on Instagram, and when basically if you're not following somebody and they try to DM you, that it goes into this request folder and you can then accept them or deny them. Well,
T-Pain had said publicly, nobody wants to work with me anymore. And he didn't know how the DMs work.
He found out that like all these famous people like were trying to get a hold of him in his DMs, but he just doesn't follow anybody. Anyway,
he's just like, oh shit, Fergie. The video's hilarious.
I love those today. I learned they're awesome. Those tweets.
Here's one that I just learned. TLDR. I didn't know what that one meant until right now. You guys see that one on Twitter? Too long didn't read. I didn't know that.
I didn't either. I'm 0 for 2.
What else you got?
Yeah, what else?
YSK, you should know.
Well, you're not giving us 0 for 3.
Sorry.
Didn't know that one.
BBC?
No, not getting that one.
The British Broadcasting Corporation, you pervert.
Yep.
The British Broadcasting Corporation, Her Majesty's News Desk.
I know there are families that listen to this, so I'm going to try to not get too gross with this one.
BBC.com?
But this one is just, I'll say the letters.
BBD?
IANAL.
What?
IANAL.
And it stands for I'm not a lawyer.
Oh,
yeah.
I went on a different way in my brain on that one.
So did most of the people listening. Does anyone know ELI5?
Explain like I'm 5.
Big Milk's a machine.
Thank you.
Big Milk knows everything.
Explain like I'm 5.
Oh.
It's like if you got a question, it'd be like, I would use that in context. I'd be like, Chalmers, explain like I'm 5 why I should take my hose off in the winter.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, explain like I'm 5 what EELI5 means.
It's an acronym for.
You could pretty much do that for any, like you can make an acronym for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Hey, weren't we supposed to talk about the Oilers?
TPSW.
Yeah.
The podcast sucked when we talked about Nutella. No, I'm just kidding. That was good.
All right.
Love Nutella.
That was good.
That was a rant. That was that was
strange,
Nutella, right?
It's Clinchmas. Today, the Oilers, if they get 1 point of clinch to playoff spot, and how did the crazed Oiler fans stuck at home during the pandemic react? The 20-minute discussion about Fabio Goose face Nutella dip.
I also loved, it reminded me of the pregame show when Josh and Jay were doing some Clinchmas math last week, and it did not go well for you.
Your Remchuk-esque?
It was
I don't even want to delve into that. And he brought it up, and I'm like, shit. You know what I did today?
It's like, I think they can clinch today. Really? I thought the number was 7. Oh, I don't know.
I heard
it was very entertaining.
Clinchmas Eve?
I played Mariah Carey All I Want for Christmas on today's episode.
Beautiful.
All I want for Clinchmas.
Exactly.
I want to.
This is why
for Clinchmas, I want 2 points from McDavid, and I want the Oilers to win the first period and cover the puck line. That's my Clinchmas list.
This is why the nation is so helpful for guys like me who browse a lot but never really delve deep into any one thing. It's why I know about the Kentucky Derby. It's why I know who won the Valspar. It's just stupid shit like that, right? Like I like to browse, but I really like that you guys tell me it's stuff like Clinchmas on Instagram, and I really like that you keep putting up graphics of how many points and how many games left Connor McDavid has. It's that type of shit that like, I don't want to go do this fucking math. Like that's your job. Do it. And you guys do it great. So I did want to say that because it keeps me like knowledgeable about like the finer points of the things that are happening in the season.
Just quickly, while we're on the topic of the Oilers, yes, their magic number to clinch a playoff spot is 1 point. Their magic number to clinch home ice advantage in round 1, heading into tonight's game against Vancouver, is 7 points between them and the Winnipeg Jets.
Man, I feel like Winnipeg's going to do us the favor on their own. They fucking suck right now.
They're awful.
What a time to hit what a time to hit a skid.
Okay.
So if the Jets lose and the Oilers win, does that deduct 4 from the 7?
Yep.
So how many, I know that the Leafs are 9 points ahead of us right now. There's only 5 games. They must have one more win and they clinched the division.
So the way to do the math is the Oilers are currently 9 points back of the Leafs. The Oilers have 7 games left, which means the most points the Oilers could get is 14. So that means if they get 14 points, they are at 76, which means the Leafs need at least 5 points to clinch. So the magic number for the Leafs to clinch the division is 5 between them and the Oilers.
That makes a lot of sense.
I think.
Math.
I need somebody to check your Remchuk's math, though, to be honest.
Just make a graphic of it already, Big Milk. Jesus Christ.
If there's one thing to learn from this, after our long decade of darkness, after our 2017, we'll see you next year in the playoffs, boys. We enjoy playoff games that you can sit in the crowd for the remainder of your life. Because anybody who's an Oilers fan of the Pulse has now been robbed of about 15 years of living.
And because in that decade of darkness, we had as many points in some years as we have right now in 49 games.
Yeah.
And that is something to think about.
And Connor has more points in 49 games than some lines did for the Oilers that whole season. We really need to do a season recap pretty soon from our beginning of the year predictions, because I think only one guy believed in Connor on this show.
Yeah, I gotta say, man, I thought that was the craziest thing anybody said that whole show, was somewhere about 100 points.
I thought Leon would get more points than Connor because I was sniffing glue. I also thought the Nuge would get 75 points, but I was the biggest believer in Connor McDavid.
Yep, you definitely were.
Hang my hat on that.
I was in the camp that he would be 1-2 in scoring, but I had no idea it would be like this.
I'm looking at the predictions right now, and there are a lot of our takes that are hilariously wrong about this whole thing. We should dedicate a whole episode to this whole bad boy. But Wanye, you were the high leader in McDavid points with just 90, which he could very well get tonight.
I knew someone was going to get 100.
I think I nailed that we'd lose to Montreal the most. I think I was the only one that said
Haven't we lost to Toronto the most technically?
I don't know.
I almost feel bad for Vancouver coming down the stretch here that they have to face the Oil every day for a month.
Chalmers, you said Edmonton would beat Montreal the most.
Yes.
So did I.
I said Montreal they would lose the most to, and they'd beat Winnipeg the most.
Yeah, you did.
See, this is why we should do a recap.
Thank you.
I don't even.
Okay, I'm going to save the rest of these until our recap episode. But there are some funny misses.
So this is where the Oilers need to now start planning. So let's win tonight. Let's clinch. Let's make sure McDavid gets his 100 points. But let's also make sure we only finish in second place.
Why don't you want to win?
I don't think we have to try that. To be honest with you.
Toronto's got it in the bag.
Well, just say what if they start sliding? Maybe what if they're like, holy shit, we won't play Montreal.
But you do know there's a chance Montreal catches Winnipeg now. They're only 2 points back, same amount of games.
That's scary.
I've never been a proponent of that. You change once you get a playoff spot, you change the way that you're doing business.
Nope.
I think they have to play and they have to just keep doing exactly what they're doing because right now it's working. And this is the type of lightning in the bottle that you kind of like. I know we have our bad games, right? Like we played bad against Calgary in that first game, which I bet on heavily and just had a bad feeling about. And honestly, like it was one of the more demoralizing losses that just made me go, like, why do I do this? Why do I bet? Right. But then they come out and play Calgary again and they play a lot better. I thought that game was highly lopsided for a 2-1 score about halfway through the game. It did not look like Calgary was all that tough to play against. But yeah, like don't change anything. You got to catch lightning in a battle for playoffs, like right 3 games. I
would argue if you have the luxury, you should probably be, once again, get the McSentry. That's a big deal. But start kind of resting up players that need rest or that are banged up. Start trying new things to see what we've got in the roster. So we know, if we need to make some changes in the playoffs, like this is, I think you got to use this time effectively.
Rest Mike Smith. Smith.
No, but that's the thing. You say rest Mike Smith. And I say, do you have 3 questions to ask Mike Smith? Number 1, do you want the rest and do you need it? Number 2, do you just make that decision for him?
Well, what are the other 2 questions?
No, you always ask the old vet what he needs.
The questions is Mike Smith, do you want to rest? Mike Smith, do you want to play? And Mike Smith, do we not ask you at all?
I would probably, for Mike Smith, I would just play him every other game.
So
like he's got to play.
Yeah. Something that changed my mind on this whole thing, and the reason I'm now with Chalmers on this, and maybe a week ago I wasn't, looking at the schedule, they're going to wrap up their season on Saturday the 15th. But because Vancouver has to play Calgary like 3 times that next week, the Oilers likely won't start their playoffs until Thursday the 20th. So that's 4 built-in days off right there. And on top of that, they have 2 days off before that Canucks game. So if you decide to sit a bunch of key guys on that last game of the year against Vancouver, they would now be going into 7 days off. And I don't like that. And Connor McDavid, Jason Gregor asked McDavid about this. What? Or he asked McDavid a similar question about this. And McDavid said he loves getting into a rhythm. He always produces a lot in March because he likes when he plays a lot. He likes getting in a rhythm of like every second day and being in the action a lot. So I don't want to take Mike Smith or Connor McDavid or Draisaitl or even Nurse out of the lineup for an entire week. I would rather have them play. Then they can get 3 days off, practice on Wednesday the 19th, bang, playoffs start Thursday the 20th. And like you're still rested, but you shouldn't be rusty.
Yeah, and
when do they award the cup? 2027? What the fuck?
Yeah, they're actually going to be awarding it at the Tokyo Olympics in July. But
the Olympics still going to happen?
Yeah, well, that's the whole reason. Yeah, that's the whole reason why the cup was going to end when it is, and that's why they had to start the season when they had to get so many games, start the playoffs by a certain time, and yada yada yada, because the Olympics was dictating everything. But to that point, Chuck, on that last game, you're not going to play Connor McDavid 26 minutes.
Yeah, probably no, I'm not doing that. No,
probably playing him 19.
Yeah, you're splitting up your ice time a little bit, I think, for all of these final 7 games. And like you said, Jay, I liked your point about like try different combinations, put guys here and there, put new guys in the lineup, try to see what works. And like Chalmers said, catch lightning in a bottle with someone. I wish they were giving McLeod a longer look with Nugent Hopkins.
Yeah, I do too, because like he doesn't like, fuck, that kid is, there's nothing to not like about that kid right now.
No, there's definitely something there. And you can tell, like, when you see it, that he just has it. It's just,
he's going to be a fan favorite.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be a fan favorite.
Those wheels are going to keep him in the league a long time.
Yeah,
he is
a big man. Can he fly? He can fly. And I love that he was giving it to Rasmus Anderson behind the net there after that.
I especially love it when a guy like him isn't like, I haven't heard about Ryan McLeod coming up and, oh my God, this guy's coming up and we got to get him up. And then he gets up here and what happens. I didn't know anything about this guy. And then they brought him up. I mean, I know that you guys did, but a lot of fans in Edmonton don't have that like built in, I got to see what this guy can do. Like immediately, there wasn't a lot of talk about him before all of a sudden he gets called up. And I think that gave him a little bit of leash probably and made people even like him more.
That's kind of like the beauty of being drafted outside of the first round, because then no one has expectations.
And he slipped.
And he slipped. And so so if you show up and make the roster like that to a fan base, that's like found money. So you're like, oh my God, this is so good. Like this came from the sky.
So let's do that thing now where we learn about somebody and then we break them down when we start really liking them. Why did he slip?
People at the time, I was actually reading about this. At the time, people were talking about his hockey sense not being the best. They said he had all the tools, but could he put it together? So he was expected to go mid to late first round, and then he slipped to 40th, where the Oilers ended up snagging him.
Similar to what happened with Raph Lavoie, similar to what happened with Tyler Benson. And I love when teams jump on these guys, like even Yamamoto to an extent. The numbers and the skill, he should have been a top 15 pick. He falls because of his size, which in today's NHL is largely not fully irrelevant, but it's more irrelevant than in the past. It's less important. And you jump on that guy, and McLeod, so much skill. He's like 6'3", skates like the wind, and teams are passing on him because, is he going to be able to put it all together? And I'm a big believer in just drafting based on skill, man. If someone has the tools, sometimes players just mature at different levels. And maybe Ryan McLeod as a hockey player wasn't as mature at 18 as some other guys who went in the first round, but fuck, he's clearly mature now. He's 21. He doesn't make bad plays with the puck. Like, he's a smart guy on the ice.
Takes a minute. Development's not a straight line. So I think McLeod's an excellent point.
No, it was a good find. That's props to Oilers scouting on that one.
I'm going to go back and fact check us on something Chalmers brought up about points from the Oilers this year. This is better than in full seasons for them in the decade of darkness. So they're at 62 points this year, which is the same amount they had in 09-10, the same amount they had in 2010-2011, 17 more than they had in 2012-2013, which was a shortened year, granted, but they played 48 games that year, and they've only played 49 now. It is only 5 less than what they had in 13-14, and it is the exact same amount they had in 14-15, the year they got Connor McDavid.
Wow.
God, what a decade.
Run. It's funny. So on the pregame show with Josh and I, we did it before this. And one of his things is like, we are now in a position where we can finally actually let go of the decade of darkness and put it behind us. Because we had the decade of darkness. We then made the playoffs, and then we lapsed and went back into the decade of darkness.
Wouldn't it make it then a 14-year decade of darkness?
Yeah, but it's sure. But I think now, because that's the thing that's been like sitting on our shoulders for so long as Oilers fans. And that's why if something good happens, we're like, oh, but like, when's it going to start sucking again?
I still have a bit of that in me.
Well, but I know, but like, that's what 14 fucking years does to you, man. Like it warps and changes you. Right. So I think now we can start trying to let it go. Let it go, Tyler. Take that handbag
I really
carry around that is a decade of darkness and throw it in your fireplace and light it on fire.
And I was prepared to let it go before the series against Chicago, and I got that jaded me more, I think. And like, I believe the Oilers can beat the Jets in 6 games in a playoff series if that's who they end up playing. But there's also a part of me that goes, Listen, everything I look at tells me the Oilers are a better team. They're playing great right now. They look borderline unstoppable. I'm fully prepared for McDavid to be held pointless through 2 games, Mike Smith to be pulled in both games, and they have to go out to Winnipeg down 2-0 in the series. Like, that still feels like, right? Like, oh, man.
You've been hurt, my friend.
I don't think I'm alone in that.
You're not.
I think, though, it doesn't matter who the Oilers play. Get in, and anything can happen.
Yeah.
It's a new season, a new day. Playoffs are not the same. They're just not the same.
100%. I wanted to quickly wrap this up. Actually, you know what? Last topic will come after we give some love to the folks at manscaped.com. And I've been looking at my emails. They have an exciting new product. It's coming soon. You're going to have to stay tuned to both this podcast and the DFO Rundown with Frank Saravalli and Jason Greger to find out some more on that. That's in the coming days because I'm not allowed to talk about it yet. But in the time being, head to manscaped.com, use the promo code Real Life. It gets you 20% off and free shipping. They also have a Canadian special up on their site right now. The Lawnmower 3.0. I've been using it for months. It is a tremendous device. Get cleaned up for playoff time. Be looking your best, even in the areas that might be covered by pants or a jersey. Manscaped.com.
So if you're thinking of giving up on this podcast and you're like, this is garbage, stick with us for a few more days and we're going to hit you with the new manscaping product. Boom!
And if you've been manscaping, email your photos to Tyler@Oilersnation.com.
No.
We would love
or
to see.
snail mail your extra hair to Tyler Yaremchuk at the Pentagon.
Yep.
You guys. All right. I wanted to throw around some playoff ideas here. The other game, Saturday night, you guys were doing an intermission show. It was Coombsy, JP, and Wanye. Wanye, is that something we're going to see a lot of?
Well, we're figuring it out. We'll see.
I do like that Coom was hanging out at Skyreach Center. I thought that was nice.
Yeah, that was a good touch. And I like
that was my idea. He was in Shrek's garden. And I was like, hockey it up a bit, would you?
I liked his pregame photo of him pouring himself a glass of olive oil.
Yeah.
Why exactly did he do that?
Why not?
Because our joke, we have a lot of jokes, Chalmers.
Oily boy?
Yeah, exactly. So we always celebrate by drinking a glass of piping hot motor oil when the Oilers score.
As you do. So Wanye, basically it was an tell people what it was and kind of what you want to do with it going forward, or if we'll be seeing that come playoff time. Cause I had someone, Bruce from BC, I think from Vancouver, DM'd me about it. And he was like, I want ways to get involved, even though I'm out in Vancouver, and like the fun of a playoff run.
Well, this is what we were thinking, right? Is like, we have to normally, if there's playoffs, we'd be having parties and we'd be doing all sorts of exciting shit. And we wanted to try to take that same energy for the strangest playoff run of all eternity and channel it into something sort of organized chaos, but yet fun so that you could look forward to it. So we were thinking, well, shit, we could make an intermission show and give away prizes and do some fun stuff and try to get people involved and we did a secret word thing, which was hilarious to me, which was Coom held up a sign in each intermission with the secret word. And if you tweeted the secret word at us, we selected one to give away nation gear.
I like that.
But our secret words were nail and contract. And anybody reading Oilers Twitter right now knows that we are running a massive flat earth operation where we're trying to convince people that we should bring back Nail Yakupov. And so the secret words being nail contract flooded people's timelines with subliminal messaging that Nail should get a contract. That was the highlight for me.
I like
that. Was funny. That was funny. It was just so many nailed contracts. It was well done.
I was confused.
There's about 10 people on Twitter who are really, really getting annoyed with this Nail Yakupov talk, right? And that just makes me so happy.
They're probably anti-Winnipeg airporters too.
They're anti-fun. Oh, for sure. And this is just like, now when people are talking about Nail Yakupov or Taylor Hall, it's a great rebuttal because it's like, well, if we're bringing back number ones, why don't we bring back the number one we want to bring back too? It's great. It's good fun. So are we going to do more of it? We don't know. We had some things work. We had some things not work. We're going to regroup. We're going to try again on Saturday and see whether or not it's going well. But the idea is just trying to capture some of the fun of a playoff drive where, every intermission, there's something a little bit more maybe light and fun that would more like going to a playoff party than watching a playoff game on TV.
Fair enough. My favorite part of it was Josh Park calling me right as the intermission started saying, Tyler,
you
I don't
were
know what's
godsend.
going on.
It was fucked. we're like, all right, it's time to get ready to go. And then Josh starts doing his magic. And then like the period's about to end. And he's just like, yeah, we don't have a clue how to do this. Calls up your Chuck, who's half in the bag, and he just sorts it out in 10 seconds.
Yeah, I did a thing with my buddies for the game on Saturday where it was like, all right, every goal the Oilers score, we're going to send each other a video of us doing a shot. And they scored two in the first like 6 minutes. And I was like, oh my God, they're going to put up 7 and I'm going to be puking by the end of the third period. Thankfully, that's the kind
of stuff we got to do, right? Like how Brad Stepanko pounds the beer. Yeah. Like that's so fun, right? You can be sitting on your couch and see people do funny shit. And it feels like you're not sitting by yourself on your couch.
Mm-hmm. So Wanya, we talked about this on the last podcast and we wanted to make like a call to action for all of the Nation podcast listeners or just the folks on Twitter to like do for every Oilers game day, and like a cool idea that like you can post yourself doing it for a game day to show like you're in. And the one suggestion we got on Twitter that I liked, again, if you have suggestions, no ideas are bad ideas, so DM us on Twitter or Instagram. But Danger Suede hit us up and he said, for the idea of a game day thing, why not do something kind of like what Jay and Josh did with the crushing of a Nation beer can, where like have your pregame drink for the Oilers and then like tweet us a video of you stepping and like crushing the can to show that like you're locked in for game time. Like that is you being like, I am here and I'm ready. I'm crushing my pregame drink and like, let's go. And that way it doesn't have to be Nation beer. It can be a fucking can of pop or something. I don't know. It doesn't have to be alcoholic or a bubbly or bubbly or whatever those things are. But like,
you know what I would love to see?
How do I do a Ryan Coke?
A can
You're going to cut your foot. Shalom. It's like a Greek wedding.
You cut your foot.
I would love to see people take photos of what their game day superstitions are. Because the minute the playoffs, like this is an awesome team and we've done phenomenally. There haven't been any do or die situations, right? Whereas before when we were a Cinderella team, we had to go 16-3 to even have a hope of being in the playoffs. When the playoffs start, something happens in everyone's brains where all of a sudden what we do has an impact on what's going on the ice. Jay, remember we went to Anaheim in 2017? How many weird things we were doing? We're like, we wouldn't wear the same jersey if they lost. We couldn't let our shit hit the floor in the hotel room. Remember?
Yeah.
I want to see people's superstitions. I want to see them be like, I can't wear anything but these shoes or we're fucked.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to. I wore the same Decade of Darkness hoodie for like a month in 2017. It was the best.
I'm thinking of not shaving my gross mustache. As you can see, very slightly coming in right now. I might shave it tonight and then not shave it until the end of the playoffs.
We need to not scare that baby up. I want to get it nice and thick for you.
Very slightly, but it's like Nuge-esque, right? Where it'll be so slightly noticeable, but you'll be like,
why even shave it? Let's keep it going.
Okay, Wanya's halfway to Joe Thornton right now.
Oh yeah, I haven't shaved really since March 2020.
Well, let's do the JR. Let's you and I grow it out for the playoffs.
Grow it the beard?
Let's all shave mullets. Let's all shave mullets. Mullet.
I don't have any hair. I don't have any hair.
You can do a skullet.
I could do a cul-de-sac. I don't even think my back would get that long in the amount of time I would need.
Yeah, true.
I just got a haircut. I should have done the mullet.
I was going to say, BM, is that your first haircut since COVID?
Second.
Oh, okay.
So I got 2 haircuts in 16 months. 14.
You put a hazmat suit on or what?
No, you know what? They did a really good job. I made an appointment, went in. I had to sanitize before I got there. Everybody was wearing masks. They cleaned everything. It went well. It's good.
Good.
But now I don't have the incredible flow to do a mullet. I could have permed it. It was very, very long. It was down almost to my shoulders.
Fuck, they made you sanitize, eh? They didn't even make me wear a mask at the rodeo this weekend.
Charles.
I got you. You know how I am for the Wranglers. I love the Wranglers.
Watches one season of Yellowstone, eh?
You know what?
I love the Wranglers.
I love the Wranglers. My wife's told me that I need to start transitioning into more of a cowboy. I'm not sure how to take that.
That's cool.
Start wearing cowboy hats and like 3
wear cowboy boots. Commit to the crowd.
Maybe that can be your playoff thing, Chalmers. On game days, you dress like a cowboy.
Cowboy Chris. Oh, the story
might become a mascot for us.
Yeah.
You know
Cowboy
what?
Chris.
I'll go buy a nice black cowboy hat. Yeah. Get one of those old Storm Rider jackets that are like the jean jacket with the corduroy
Yeah.
Collar.
Every time they score, you do a whoop dance on social and whoop your hat around.
Buddy, you know what the one thing is? I think I could run cowboy gear. I think I could do it.
I've know you run
cowboy gear.
I definitely do it
numerous times.
You stampede with the best of them.
The best of them.
I do. God, dude.
You need one of those long leather dusters as well that goes over the jean jacket. Just really protect things.
I
Chalmers,
have
if there's
that
two looks
jacket.
I know you can pull off. It's Kangol, cowboy, and also pilot at Halloween.
Okay, I'm transitioning. You know what I was doing this weekend when I was doing yard work outside? I noticed that they all wear those leather gloves, those like rawhide, like light tan gloves. Yeah. So I went and bought a pair. I'm out there doing my work, and I've got my work clothes on, and I take a pair of those and I put it on. I'm not gonna lie to you, I felt like a cowboy right then and there.
Interesting.
And I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was
tuck them in your back pocket, all sexy when you're done, and pour a bucket of water over yourself.
Yeah, don't shower at all. I really just want to be. I just want to be like Rip on Yellowstone. That's pretty much.
Can we brand you? Can we
or Casey?
Can we get an Oilersnation brand and brand you?
Oy.
Oh yeah, we could get like a fake tattoo or like no,
not fake.
Yeah, I'm not doing a real brand. I saw some guy on Twitter. If you guys follow Barstool Alberta, they taped a guy, or they ratchet strapped a dude to like an automotive chair in a garage and branded him.
That's
and
hot.
like he wanted to do
that account.
It does not look like the way it does in the show. It immediately starts to like melt off. Oh, it's so fucking gross. Yeah,
Can't imagine a TV show when it worked.
So
I am changing the subject. I'm changing the subject. I'm just hopping in here. Wanya, I like your idea of everyone posting their superstitions.
Hey, thanks.
If you do want to brand yourself, though, send the pictures to Tyler.
Hey, Jay. Hey, Wanya, stop telling people to drink motor oil. Okay. Also, Jay, you should brand yourself.
Stop telling people to drink motor oil on the Oilersnation Twitter.
I just said we should brand Chalmers. Targeted branding.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, I just want one group superstition that we can all do. So send your ideas to our DMs. Also,
if you wake up in the morning and you feel that what you eat for breakfast is going to have an impact on the game, let us know. Yeah. If you are like mid-afternoon thinking you need to have a nap so they have energy for the game, let us know. This is the kind of stuff I'm interested in.
100%.
I like it.
And we'll even read some on the next podcast as well. One thing I'm disappointed in, and I'm interested to see if this changes come playoff time, is if you look around to like other teams around the league, their mascots still have prominent roles during games.
Yeah, where is Hunter? I've been thinking about that.
I've been at the rink for like over half the home games this year. I haven't seen Hunter once. Where is this guy?
You're so lucky you're Mchuk.
And will he be ready come playoff time? That's what I want to know. I want Hunter in the lineup come playoff time.
I wish I could go to the games. These are the hardest games ever to go to.
Tyler, are they even like showing Hunter at all? Like I know because
they have one pre-made video for every time they score.
Couch, right?
Yeah, him on the couch, and they play the exact same video every time they score with the same fans and Hunter.
Gritty is killing it in the pandemic. Killing it.
Should we start some kind of Where's Hunter campaign?
Yep, I think we should.
The hunt for Hunter?
The hunt for Hunter.
The hunt for Hunter.
The hunt for the McCentury mark, which I called.
That's not a hunt.
I called McDavid's quest for the century mark the Mick Hunt on the radio the other day, and
you can't say that.
I was quickly told that is not probably a good way to go about it. Even though I had good intentions, I didn't know what I was saying. I actually just thought it sounded catchy at first. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap up this week's episode of the pod. This was fun. It was good to talk a little Oilers. It feels like forever ago that we were talking about a bird hitting Fabio's face. That's how many topics we hit on.
Can we call this one
podcast ago?
Can we call this one Fabio Goose Face?
Yep.
Sure. We can name the podcast literally whatever you want on it.
JR approves.
Goose face killer.
Jay doesn't like it though.
No, Jay's a fan. JR's got trauma for this one.
Yeah.
Some old memories.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in.
Go Oilers tonight.
Yes, go Oilers tonight.
Clinchmas, baby.
Come watch the intermission show. Oh, wait, intermission's not until Saturday. Do not watch the intermission show until Saturday. Advanced type.
Will Bob Stauffer be on your intermission show?
Bob Stauffer wishes he could come on my intermission show.
All right, let's wrap this thing up. Episode 278 of the Real Life Podcast. Shout out to Oodle Noodle, Manscaped, and Twig and Berries. Make all 3 of those fantastic businesses a part of your playoff routine. Promo code REALLIFE on Manscaped and Nation15 on Twig and Berries. Thanks for tuning in. This episode is over.
Great job on making it through the entire hour of the Real Life podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast from.